Assalamu alaikum, family. Peace be unto you. Welcome to the Sajdah channel. I'm your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, and we're going to talk a little bit today about why you are so hard on yourself. All right? So be a friend, tell a friend, and we'll be right back to get started with our conversation. Bring your questions about anything, pop them in the chat. We'll be right back after a few short commercials and a beautiful prayer.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserved to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. but it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible...
All right, family. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are tuned in to the Sajdah channel, and I am your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, and we're going to talk today about why we are so hard on ourselves. Before we jump in, I want to tell you a few things and then show you a quick video. This illusion of perfection that society dangles in front of us like a carrot, and then when they dangle the carrot in front of us, it's like measured by money, like how much money you have. And I think it's like almost the root of all evil, because it's what makes people compete. And it's what makes people do things to family members, friends, because they're trying to compete. They're trying to look like they're better than the next person. And it's all an illusion. It really is an illusion. Because this rat race that we're in will make us think that today we're on top. Maybe because we got a little bit more money in the bank account. Maybe because we got a few more cars. Maybe because we got a little bit better job. And then because that rat race is constantly moving so fast, 6 months from now, the script can be flipped. And when that script gets flipped, then now that other person has a little more money, or that other person has another job because maybe your company closed. Whatever. It's crazy, because then here you are playing this game, hurting one another, competing against other people. And then when this devil decides to turn the tides, you've ruined a valuable relationship. Don't let these pressures from society make you feel like you have to step on or hurt someone else in order to get ahead. It's this illusion of perfection. I was taking some notes. It's a weight. It's like the weight of perfection is what I called it in my notes. We're constantly criticizing ourselves. And that constant criticism, it drains our creativity. It literally takes away our joy. And it ruins our relationships. ruins our relationships with ourselves, ruins our relationships with other people. It's this constant illusion of competition, this constant illusion of perfection. Some people get like that over body weight. You know how easy it is to lose weight? You know how easy it is to gain weight? You know how easy it is to go like this? You're going to fall out with somebody who's a good friend, a relative, or somebody you love or care about over some weight, because maybe today you're thinner and today they're a little thicker, but then tomorrow y'all the same size. Does that make sense? Here you are. Listen, if we had an even playing field, everybody would probably have a good job or a good business or no problems, no debt. They wouldn't have to ask for help. If it was up to us, we wouldn't have to do that, right? But the way the world flows is that you can be up today and down tomorrow. So the thing that's the real treasure is your relationships. Because you don't know what these people, you could be driving home, and especially as a Black man, these people pull you over and lock you up. But you was just over here acting like you was better than the next person. It's not worth it. Let's start depositing good into that relationship bank so that as this world starts to go like this, these vicissitudes of life, we have the through line of a relationship. A through line of a relationship. See, and so what I want to do, I'm going to play this video that just talks about, it talks in depth about one of the things that I have often had a conversation with you all about. Let me explain to you what I mean before we show it. I see y'all in the chat. Thank you all for being here. My super chat people. Brother Lamont, good morning. Walaikum salam. Happy Saturday. Dress code is here. Walaikum salam. Mom is here. Happy Saturday, Mom. Sister Angela is here. Walaikum salam. I see a bunch more of you all that are not in the chat, but that is okay. If you're feeling shy and you don't want to be in the chat, that's okay. Put some questions in the chat. Put some comments in the chat. I want y'all responding today in the chat. Let's get active in the chat. Before I show this video, make sure that you go to social media and get that link to tomorrow's Sacred Credit Literacy Program. RJ Funches, walaikum salam. Make sure you check that out. It's a replay. So if you all attended the first webinar, you've seen it already. You, of course, can go back and check it out again. I showed the video here a few minutes ago, but it's posted on all my social media pages. And there's a link where you have to go register in order to attend, but it's worth it. All these things, always remember this. You should not always be looking for somebody to tell you exactly what to do. You should be looking for someone, information that is going to spark your creativity, open you up, raise your awareness so that what you need to do for your own particular situation comes to you. All right. And that's the goal with a lot of these webinars, the things that I'm doing, the book that's coming out. It's all about raising your awareness. Because if I can't raise your awareness, I can't really help you, because, you know, somebody who's just going to give you that cookie cutter way of doing things is not somebody who's really trying to help you. I want you all thriving and walking in purpose. That's my goal. So that's tomorrow night at 7. Go to my Facebook, my Instagram pages, even on LinkedIn. There's a link there where you can register, you can sign up. You don't want to miss it. It is extremely powerful. It's all about raising our awareness when it comes to credit repair. Again, it's interesting how, see, the devil makes you think that he doesn't exist. And then he pits us against each other. Brother against sister, father against son, mother against daughter, neighbor against neighbor, student against student, believer against believer. Pits us against each other with this illusion and the weight of perfection. So when we look at that next person, we get mad at God for what God has given them, and then we decide to tether ourselves to them and then figure out how we can siphon off, suck away, and take down. And take what they have, take them down. This is a crazy illusion when it's so simple. And I don't, y'all know I normally don't simplify things like this, but it's so simple for you and I to engage in the process of self-improvement. We just have to take it one day at a time. I always say it's like eating a pie. You get that bean pie, you're not going to put the whole bean pie in your mouth. You might eat the whole thing, but you're going to eat it bite by bite, piece by piece. And so that's the reason, that's the way we want to approach our self-improvement. If you see somebody else with something, you see maybe they lost a little weight, be inspired by them. And then each day you try to do better. Make sure that today you do better today than you did yesterday. And if you have a day where you fall off, you just go, okay, I'll get it right tomorrow. But don't take advantage of somebody. Don't try to hurt somebody. Don't try to hit them upside the head. Don't start stealing from somebody, because this is finally your chance to be better. This is finally your chance to be on top. It ain't going to work out good for you, because this is all an illusion. That's what you got to see. That's what we talked about yesterday, that no matter what you've been doing, no matter who you are your whole life, you are a whole business and you are a subject matter expert in something. And you don't got to be jealous of nobody else. You can lend your talents and who you are to somebody else, help somebody. Look, let me tell you something. I love hooking people up. I love helping people. And Allah blesses me, especially when somebody is like in a situation where they're in trouble and they just don't know what to do. And for me, and somebody in that vulnerable state, I would never, ever, ever take advantage of them, because that's when you start entering a danger zone. When you see somebody that's extremely vulnerable, they're hurting, they're nervous, they got something at risk, they don't know what to do, and you swoop in and take advantage, you're putting yourself in danger. Because it's something about, in the spiritual world of shamanism, when people are on the brink of death or on the brink of losing something, or they've had a near-death experience or something like that, that's when they kind of morph back and become and dive into their spiritual gifts. Let me say it that way. And you start playing around with people like that, I just don't believe that Allah is going to look favorably upon you. It may be something random that occurs in your life, because to get that low down and dirty, to hurt somebody when they're at rock bottom, means that your vibration got to be really, really low. And if you're vibrating at a low vibration like that, then there got to be other things in your life that are matching that low vibration. And while you may have hurt me or somebody else over here, Be mindful as you walk away and move forward thinking that you got away with it. Because it's not worth it. All this stuff is an illusion. It's really just an illusion. And so I pride myself on helping people just get through the illusion. That's all it is. Something happened to you. Oh, the devil trying to make you think it's the end of the world. Then let me see what I can do to come in and help. But please, people, please, please, please do not practice this type of predatory behavior. Don't be a loan shark. Don't be a pimp. Do not practice that kind of behavior. That oftentimes is rooted in your lack of self-improvement or the weight of perfection that you have on you, the competition that you have on you. You can't wait. Let me tell you, and I said this before, I'm so careful with other people that I'm even mindful what I say. I'm mindful what I say to them. I'm mindful what I say about them. I'm very careful because I don't want to be responsible for hurting nobody. If I was engaging in some type of crazy or deviant behavior, I wouldn't do that in a situation where I think it's going to impact your business, your relationships, your reputation. Some of us have spent our whole entire life working to build a certain type of reputation. And the last thing you need is somebody who's coming in the name of helping you, but really with the goal of ruining your life, your reputation, and taking advantage of you in your downtrodden position. So let me help us with that. Be about the business of improving every single day. Bite by bite, piece by piece, every day in every way, we should be working to improve ourselves, whether it's taking a class, whether it's exercising, whether it's praying, whether it's figuring out who we are. Because again, like we said yesterday, your experience, your life experience, and who you are is embedded in your life experience and who you are gifts and talents that only you have that can make you wildly successful. You don't got to compete against nobody else. Because guess what? It's not going to make you look any better than anybody else if you take down that person you're competing against and then you stand up and say, yeah, but I thought that he was all of that, but look at me. Nobody's going to look at you. You may, for a minute, feel good, but you're going to feel like crap. And then the other stuff that happens in your life is going to make your life crap. Trust me. So let's work on our self-improvement so we don't turn into that kind of person. I want to show you this video, and then we're going to come back and have a quick conversation about this weight of perfection, this competitive crap that this matrix, this illusion that we all are living in, that this matrix is playing on us. It's an illusion. And I got to figure out how to get you all to see that. You're looking at that next person, they driving this kind of car, and you feel like, I'm just going to take their car, or I'm just going to get it, or I'm just going to destroy it. Or if they say, hey, you know what? I had to sell my car because, my business needed an infusion. And then we over there like, yeah, so low vibrational, so low vibrational. And if you keep doing that, I'm telling you, you're going to look up and your life is going to be crap, because that is some bottom of the barrel vibrational stuff that you should not want anything to do with. You shouldn't want anything to do with. And when you think about the bottom of the barrel stuff that can happen, keep playing around with that energy. And then those same people, they'll be over here living their life, doing what we're talking about doing here, but you dealing with the consequences all because you wanted to take them down because you didn't want to work on yourself. All right, let's take a look at this. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. Here we go.
Did you know that just a 1% improvement every day can completely transform your life? Imagine if, instead of waiting for a breakthrough, you focused on making tiny, consistent changes. Over time, those small wins stack up, leading to massive success. Most people fail not because they don't have big dreams, but because they focus on the end goal instead of the small steps that lead there. This is where the 1% rule comes in. And by the end of this video, you'll have a strategy to make success inevitable. The 1% rule is simple. Improve by 1% every day, stay consistent, and let time do the work. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explained how British cycling went from losing for decades to dominating the world stage just by making small, incremental improvements, tweaking bike seats, adjusting diet plans, and even changing the type of pillows athletes used. Within 5 years, they won 5 Tour de France titles. Now, how does this apply to you? If you want to get fit, don't aim for an extreme workout. Start with 5 push-ups a day. If you want to be a better speaker, practice for 2 minutes daily. If you want financial freedom, save just 1% of your income today. You don't need a massive leap, just 1% progress. Over 1 year, that's a 37x improvement. Success isn't about big leaps. It's about daily discipline. I challenge you, right now, drop one thing that's holding you back and replace it with a 1% better habit. Comment below what your 1% change will be. If you found value in this, hit that like button.
I wanted us to see that because I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was asking me some things about myself. We were just talking about growing up and just sharing. And I said, somehow, I know better than to say I figured out, but I could, for the purposes of this conversation, I'll say I figured out early on, or a lot inspired me early on, to be disciplined and to be consistent. And at the end of the day, all of us are disciplined and consistent in something. It's just that for some of us, the thing that we are disciplined and consistent about is the thing that has gotten us where we are today, or that got you jealous of us, or us jealous of you, whatever side of the coin you're on today. So some people are disciplined and consistent about drinking alcohol every day. You disciplined and consistent, you're going to get up every day, you're going to do it at this certain time. That's where you are applying your discipline and your consistency. And that focus, what you focus on, expands. And so that focus then begins to produce physiological changes and life circumstances that impact where you are today. Now, some people going, you know what? I ain't trying to hear this. It's all about the money. It's all about this or that. It's not. I'm telling you, it's an illusion. Because if you don't have consistency and discipline in the right areas, that when the ground up under you is moving, it's shifting, it's moving, it's shaking, it's doing all kind of stuff, whatever the economy decides to do, It's going to be your consistency and your discipline, or the focus of your consistency and your discipline, that's going to carry you through the vicissitudes of life. Some of us are consistent and disciplined with smoking weed every day. We're going to wake up and smoke. We're going to go to bed and smoke, but we are consistent. Well, guess what? The focus of your consistency and your discipline is going to produce something. It's just mathematics. It's natural. It's going to produce something. It's going to produce something physiologically. It's going to produce, depending on what vibration, but it is going to produce something. There's a cause and effect. There's nothing that you can do, especially on a consistent and disciplined basis, right, that doesn't have an effect in your life. So when I was talking about myself, I was a consistent reader. I was a consistent studier. I'm still the same way. I'm still disciplined. I'm still studying. I'm still, even when it comes to business, every day I'm working on that pipeline. When I've had big multi-million-dollar deals, I was consistently working on that. So that thing that people may see, they go, okay, I'm challenged by that person's success. You don't know how long that person has been working on that. How long? How long have you been lifting weights? How long have you been exercising? How consistent have you been? I've been consistent about this podcast and this radio show since I started doing it. I started blogging in 2005 and then started really having a show in around 2009. I've been consistent with it. So when you look at my catalog, that now is a body of knowledge, a volume of work that is worth something. Now you have to say, oh, okay, I get it. I see it. So consistent and disciplined, but we have to think about what we are consistently being disciplined about. What are we focusing on? And then once we decide what we want, what's our why, then we want to spend a measured amount of time each day focusing on that thing. You can't be jealous of somebody's skin and you don't ever wash your face. You can't be jealous of somebody's teeth and you don't ever brush your teeth. Somebody says, oh, Sajdah, you have nice teeth. Well, I am consistent and disciplined about brushing my teeth at least 3 times a day and flossing. So you can't be jealous of that. You can't be jealous of somebody's hair and they are consistently and disciplined about taking care of their hair. You can't say, man, I'm jealous of that sister because I think Sajdah lost about 40 pounds. Well, that came from consistent discipline, figuring out what's causing inflammation, what's causing dampness, what's causing these things, and then continuing to keep going with it. Working out, exercising, figuring out what works for me. That's it. That's the other piece of things. You can't just always pick up on what you see somebody else doing. They may say, well, I took this herb every day. So then you decide to go just take the herbs too. It may not be for you. It depends on your body, depends on who you are. So you can't get upset when you're not willing to apply the consistency, the discipline, and the focus in a particular area. See, some of us are consistent and disciplined and focused about being haters. Like we've been in our brain hating this person for so long that it is just second nature to just hate them. Some people are like that. But what are you focused on? When you hear me say I'm focused on love, and I know that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I am consistent and disciplined about focusing on love, relationships, friendships. It's very important to me. And I'm very disciplined when it comes to that. Very consistent when it comes to that. And so, because I recognized very early on in my life that this whole thing is an illusion. But what's important is relationships. Something happened to you, you go to the hospital, you're going to want relationships. Break your ankle, you want relationships. Somebody to come by and look out for you, love on you a little bit. Go to jail, you need relationships. You know, people sitting in jail and don't nobody come see them. But they was on top of the world just yesterday. They was making the money yesterday. And then they go down, ain't nobody thinking about them, not even their wife, not even their children. One wrong move, all because they're trying to compete, all because they're being jealous of the next person. One wrong move, moving in ignorance, or maybe moving in knowledge, I don't know, but let's just say moving in ignorance. Make a mistake, here come them people. You locked up, but you ain't got no relationships. That's a problem. Even when you become successful, you need relationships. Relationships is what will help sustain you through the success of that business, help you, tell you what to look out for, what to watch out for. It's relationships. I get it. I know we all like, look, I can just use AI and become friends with ChatGPT and create me an avatar. I get it. And it may give you a little bit of comfort. You can go get you a puppy. It might give you some comfort. It might give you a lot. But that dog ain't coming to see you in the hospital. That dog ain't putting no money on your books if you go to jail. That dog can't pick you up from the airport. That dog can't cook you a meal. You see? So it's the human relationships. Brother Lamont said, whoo, those relationships saved my life. I did not know I had many valuable relationships until you fall. Yeah. Until you fall, you don't know. You don't know who's going to be there and who's not. And you may be saying, well, I don't have no plans on falling. This matrix that we live in, this illusion that we in, it's designed to make sure we fall. You just got to make sure you get back up. You just got to make sure you practicing the right behaviors that's going to put you a little bit of something in the bank. I always say practicing those prayers, meditating, vibrating at the right level may help you avoid some things. Or if some things come your way, make sure you're all right. Listen, people, we are at war. We are at war. And the way I look at it is if somebody comes to me for help, whether they just are downtrodden, they need a little motivation, they don't feel good, whether they need financial help, whether they need food help, whatever. To me, I look at it like I'm helping a fellow comrade on the battlefield. That's how I look at it. And while we're fighting and while we're navigating this world, somebody that can come along and say, hey, you all right? Keep pushing, keep going. Let me carry that a few steps for you. Let me give you a hug. You're going to be okay. Here goes some money. So when you get there, you got something to eat. We are at war. And we got to look at it like that. Thank you, Brother Lamont. He said that's a great perspective. We are. And so that person coming to you, reason why I'm saying stop all this competition and looking down on people and trying to hurt people because they come to you, and look at it like we are all on the battlefield. So I may limp up to you on the battlefield because I just got shrapnel in my leg. You can't push me down and put the heel of your boot in my thigh where the shrapnel just went in. You need to help me pull the shrapnel out, wrap it up, and help me limp along, because we may get a few miles down the line and you might step on a landmine. Or I might see it and go, whoa, 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 don't step there. Or I may say, uh-oh, they captured my brother. They captured my sister. And I may be the one to go get the troops to go come get you. Or make sure you got food while you captivated. We're on a battlefield. We got to stop this. We have to stop this. We have an enemy out here that ain't playing with us. They like, look, all the basics that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. They're like, look, we don't want you to know your name. I don't care what you call yourself. We're going to make y'all go get real IDs. And when you get that real ID with the star on it, you're going to have to bring us your birth certificate, your original name. I don't care if now you calling yourself Abdul Malik. If your name was Rickford Jones, that's what we want to know, because that's what we putting on your real ID. So taking away your ability to name yourself. See, the messenger taught us that about our names. Then they saying, and now we don't want you to know your history. So we used to be the gatekeepers of y'all history. And since y'all don't care enough about your history, we're going to erase your history. We're going to erase your history faster than you are archiving it. You're not teaching your babies about history no more. You're not going to have us giving you money to teach about the bad things that we did back in the day. Teach your own people that, but you ain't going to hear it from us no more. We're at war. Let me take away some jobs. Let me make it hard for you to get credit. And depending on where we are, the enemy changes. See, you don't understand the enemy at $150,000 if you're only making $20,000. You at $150,000 don't understand the enemies that we got building a $20 million hospital and impacting 30,000 lives and limbs in metropolitan DC. You know what kind of enemies we brought out? You know what kind of devils and demons came up and came against us? That's still mad. That's still looking at me and Dr. Dormo and saying, well, we're going to try to make sure they can't build nothing else. Well, guess what? That happens to white people too. But you know what? Somebody comes and helps them out. We were listening yesterday to Donald Trump's father's history, Fred Trump. And he had help. Something happened. Oh, here's a book of business. I understand that, Because when I was selling real estate, I was having a hard time. And the people in the office, they wasn't my friends. They wasn't really trying to help me. I wasn't doing good at all. And then the broker came and said, I have this book of business from, I don't know how he was a Jewish man, and I don't know how he knew this other Jewish guy. Maybe they went to synagogue together. I'm not sure, but he called him his brother. He passed away. And I'm like, okay, I can do it, because at this point I'm starving. And we on the battlefield, and I got shrapnel in my feet. And man, when I tell you, they was putting stilettos and pounding stuff in that shrapnel, trying to take me down. And somebody else came along and he said, here's a book of business. I was reading where Fred Trump got a book of business from a mortgage company that became his initial portfolio. And then he started doing partnerships with FHA. And those became his real estate portfolios. But so here's the difference. Somebody helped, and then he kept going, and then somebody probably continued to help. What happened with us, what happened with me, he said, I never forget it. He called me in his office. He told me about the properties. He said, you can have the whole book of business, but I'm going to just give you one. And, if you can't sell that, then we're going to figure something else out. Now, I'm on the South Side selling real estate. And then he tells me, he said, this stuff it's all on the West Side. Well, that didn't scare me, because growing up in college, all my friends were from the West Side. I didn't even know that there was a South Side to Chicago until I started coming here, and my friends would say, oh, I got a cousin that lives on the South Side. I thought everything was the West Side. That's how many people I knew from the West Side. So when he said they on the West Side, I didn't bat an eye. I wasn't scared of that. And then when I drove by and I saw that it was like a open air drug market damn near over there on that block, I just said, I got to figure out how to sell this real estate, because I got to eat. And some of you have heard this story, but I'm going to tell it again. And I said, I got to figure it out. All the properties were in K-Town, or different parts, some, not all K-Town, but some in K-Town, one in Austin, few different places. And I remember calling a friend of mine and asking her, who do I talk to? Because I had seen the minister do this. Who do I talk to over there on that block? Because I got 2 listings over there that maybe they can tone it down on Sunday when I have an open house. Because I realize that now that's becoming, as we gentrify the West Side, they call it now West Loop, near West, still all West Side, right? I said, these people who want to buy over here understand that they got to be a pioneer. But I can't do it with all the bros outside in the white t-shirts doing what they do. So a friend of mine told me, say, you're going to have to talk to so-and-so, so-and-so. And so I went in scared to death, heart beating in my ears. I said, excuse me, sir, I am not the police. I'm out here trying to get my money just like you are. But is there any way you all can clear out in front of here for Sunday when I do this open house? Because I'm trying to get this place sold. And I said, I'm in an office. They're not trying to help me. I'm damn near starving. Can you all help? I never forget. And the brother didn't say a word. I feel like crying. He didn't say anything. He just nodded. I wasn't sure what that meant. I knew I had just kind of poured my heart out to a stranger that was supposed to be a notorious street person. I just know he looked like a human being to me. And I just said, I'm gonna just see. And I remember the broker never said nothing to me. I said, we're gonna have an open house on Sunday. And I remember he laughed. He gave me the signs. And when I got there Sunday morning at 9:00, there was nobody on the block. And even the front stoop of the building was cleaned off. And that day, a couple came through. They were buying up these properties and they bought it. And I went back over there to say thank you to them. We never really had a lot of words. And I said, I got another one at the end of the block. Same nod. But they didn't hate on me and get in my way. I probably looked like this crazy little Muslim girl over here trying to get this thing done to them, but they didn't. They respected me. They didn't stand in my way. We didn't have a lot of conversations. We didn't talk, but there was an unspoken connection and respect there. That to this day, I don't play about the West Side. I do not play about the West Side of Chicago because this is how Allah does things. I was at a point where in many aspects of my life, I was being hated on. People who weren't doing their 1% of self-development and self-improvement was trying to take me down. And I remember the night before when I was kind of preparing in my head on what I was going to say to this person to see if they would just move off the front of this building so that I could get his soul. I remember just kind of losing hope in humanity because I was like, why do people compete against each other and why do we try to hurt one another? Especially when we see somebody's down, somebody going through something. Why do we try to hurt? And I remember saying, Allah, I don't know what to do. So it was with that energy that I went over there. And I'm not even going to describe him because you all would know. If you're from Chicago, you'll know who he is. I'm not going to describe him, but when somebody told me who to ask for, and they told me, you know, he'll come from around the back. I think, I don't know where the back was, but when I saw him walking towards me, it was so intimidating, and I could hear my heart beating in my ears. But I had given up on humanity. And that person, those people, those brothers that folks said was monsters, said they was murderers and serial killers, that if I even got out of the car over there, they was going to take my stuff, they restored my hope in humanity. And so I'm saying to you all, we got to stop. We got to stop. I just think about how what's making me cry is I think about how I know what that brother probably was up against, probably what he had gone through in his life. while he was out there doing what he was doing, I just remember his face was so hard, but his heart was not. And so I went on, I sold the next property. All of a sudden, I'm on the leadership board in the office. I sold like 2 or 3. And I would just tell them, hey, y'all, whoever this Jewish man was, he had about 10 properties in this, like probably about a 4 to 6 block radius. And I remember there was one lady in the office who, when she saw me selling stuff over there, she told the broker, and this is how shady people are. I'm the one you promised the book of business to, but you parsing it out to me one at a time. And she told me, she said, yeah, I got that next one. And this one was a really big, like, apartment building. And I said, I don't want that. I said, it's too big. I said, all them units in there, it's going to be too hard to sell. And I'm not going up in there showing it. So no, you go ahead. And I'll never forget the day that she went over there, because the brothers didn't move off the block for her. They kept doing what they was doing. Them and their customers still out there. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And she came back like, how are you doing this? She had a whole new respect for me. But I went there with my heart. I went there not looking down on anybody. I went there not being disrespectful. I went there knowing, and I said to Allah, if you help me become successful, I will help you. And I will commit to helping others. And I've kept my word. So I just wanted to share that with you all today. And shout out to the West Side. They had to teach me so much, because I'm from Nebraska, and Omaha was not the way it is today. Like, we didn't have like this street stuff. Like, now that I'm educated, I can see certain elements when I go home that may or may not have been there. I don't know. I was reading a book the other day, and it looked like it may have been there. I just wasn't privy to it. I didn't grow up that way or around that. I grew up in certain circles, and I didn't have to deal with those things. But one of the prayers, and I'll tell you this last thing that I prayed to Allah, because I had friends, like I said, who were from the West Side, who knew these elements. And I just said, I'll never have, this is how I dealt with not being competitive. I just said, I'll never have their life experiences. My life is just different. So I probably look like a little white girl walking up to that brother saying, excuse me, sir. I didn't walk up like, what am, Lord? I didn't do none of that. I was just like, excuse me, sir. Hello. I didn't even give the greeting. Hello. But I said, Allah, I will never have their life experiences, nor am I trying to mimic that. But I know that my connection to you is strong. And I started making commitments to myself. And I think that came out in my vibration and in my heart. And I'm grateful to have been consistent and disciplined in the focus when I told Allah, if you help me get up out this hole, I promise you, I will help you. And I will commit to helping others. And I promise you, I've been doing that ever since. So with that, family, make sure, go to the if you have any quick questions before we go, I'm going to close out here. Go on the social media pages. You're going to see our spiritual approach to credit literacy. I think you'll enjoy it because sometimes it's hard dealing with these concepts because you could tell it's a game, but you just got to put some perspective around it so you know how to play the game and you learn how to master the game, and then that way the game's not mastering you. And then mastering the game is going to also help with your money psychology. So this was part of our money psychology series. We're going to do it again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So go there, go to either Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think it's also on X. There should be a link in the post or a QR code. I should have brought it here, but I didn't. Where you can register. All right. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Continue to support the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum. I was walking downtown the other day and they had these beautiful antique coins all in the window of this store. And I just stopped. Here I go getting emotional again today. And I said, one day our coins are going to be on display like this. They're going to be worth something. Dress Code said, beautiful testimony of inspiration. Thank you for sharing. Thank Allah for blessing us with you. Thank Allah for blessing us with you, sis. All praises due to Allah. I just said one day our coins are going to be worth that as well, because they are made of recycled copper from the Christ home. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, family. I will see you all, inshallah. I'm going to try to go live during the week. I've been showing some reruns at 6 a.m. each morning, just letting you guys catch up. I may set some of those up for this week as well. Outside of that, we'll see you all tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Make sure you go and register to join that. And just stay close, stay tuned, because I got a lot of stuff I'm working on. Okay. Peace and blessings, family. Love you all very, very much. And again, we'll see you all soon. All right. Remember, it's not personal. It's vibrational.